Today we explore one of the Qur'an's most profound titles, Kitab-e-Maknūn, the Veiled Book. The Qur'an describes itself as both manifest and hidden, a scripture open for all to read, yet accessible in its true essence only to those who are purified. In the Ismaili understanding, this inner luminous reality of the Qur'an is inseparably linked to the Imam, the living guide who is both the key and the heart of the Qur'an's meaning. We'll journey through how this hidden reality is preserved in the universal soul, why touching it means far more than turning its pages, and how it culminates in the Pearl of Intellect, the distilled essence of divine wisdom. This is a conversation about light, guidance, and the transformative path that takes us from reading the Qur'an to truly touching its living soul. So let's dive right into that central point. It seems like a bit of a paradox, doesn't it? The Qur'an is physically there, open, millions read it, but then it calls itself veiled, hidden. Only the purified can really get to it. How do we start to, square that circle?
That's really the crux of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it opens up a whole way of understanding. You see, in Islam, you fundamentally have these two great miracles. There's the Qur'an, the revealed word, as you said.
Right.
But just as vital, there's the Imam, the living, divinely appointed guide, the interpreter, and the key thing is they aren't separate, not at all. They're interconnected, deeply intertwined.
So the book needs the guide, and maybe the guide works through the book.
Precisely. The Qur'an isn't just a static text you pick up and read like any other book. Think of it more like a living reality, and it draws its life, its vitality from that living guide.
Okay, that's a powerful image.
Yeah, and the Qur'an itself hints at this. There's that verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah 5.15, we have sent unto you the light and the book.
Light in the book.
Exactly. And notice the order. Light first, then book. Many interpretations emphasize this sequence. The Imam, representing that light, provides the necessary illumination. Without that light, reading the book, it can stay on the surface. Just words.
Like reading in the dark.
That's a great analogy. You need the light to see the real depth, the colors, the meaning. With the Imam's guidance, the light, those same words suddenly open up. They reveal their true spiritual core.
That idea of light, it really resonates. It makes me think of Surah Yasin. People often call it the heart of the Qur'an. How does that connect? The heart, the light, the Imam.
Yasin. Yes, that connection is incredibly profound. Surah 36, the heart.
Right.
And why? Well, look inside Yasin itself. Verse 12 says, we have encompassed everything in the manifest Imam.
Everything in the Imam. Wow.
It's huge. And the Prophet Muhammad himself reportedly said, everything has a heart, and the heart of the Qur'an is Yasin. Now, what's fascinating is Yasin isn't just the chapter's name. It's also one of the Prophet's own titles.
So Yasin is the chapter, and it's the Prophet who is the source, in a way.
You could say that. The Prophet embodies that heart. Think about your own heart. It gives life to your whole body, right? It pumps blood, energy. Well, in the same way, the Imam, as the living heart of the Qur'an, gives vitality, meaning spiritual energy, you could say, to all 6,666 verses. Without that central living reality, the verses, they're like a body without a pulse. Perfect form, maybe, but no life.
Lifeless words without the living heart.
Exactly. The Imam isn't just explaining the words, he is the source from which the Qur'an's living meaning flows outwards. And this leads directly to a foundational principle in the Ismaili tradition, recognizing the Imam of the time, Imam Shanasi.
Imam Shanasi. That's considered the very first duty for Ismailis, isn't it? What does that recognition really involve?
It's absolutely fundamental. It's seen as the primary duty for every murid, every spiritual seeker. It's not just a nod of acknowledgement. It means that any real effort to understand the Qur'an, to go deep, is essentially an effort to recognize the Imam.
So studying the Qur'an is seeking the Imam.
In essence, yes. The Qur'an becomes like a mirror. It reflects the Imam's reality, and the Imam, in turn, becomes the living commentary, the living embodiment of the Qur'an's truths in that specific time and place. It's also worth noting, historically, that Ismailis are the only Shia community with this continuous line of living hereditary Imams going right back to the Prophet. That continuity of living guidance is key.
That unbroken chain.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Qur'an is alive through the Imam. Let's circle back to that manifest versus hidden idea. The Zahir, the outer book anyone can pick up, versus this honorable Qur'an in a hidden book. The Kitab-e-Maknūn, untouched except by the purified. What is this hidden book then?
Right. This isn't really a contradiction when you understand the sort of nature of reality being discussed. Outwardly, yes, the physical Qur'an is there for anyone. Anyone can buy it, read it, study it.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not. But inwardly, the hidden book, Kitab-e-Maknūn, refers to something else. It's the Qur'an's inner reality. It's luminous, spiritual, timeless essence. And that word touch, it's critical.
Doesn't mean physically touching the paper.
Not at all. Touch here is symbolic. It means spiritual access, reaching into its deep inner meaning, experiencing it. And the ones who can do that, the purified ones, those who've cleansed themselves inwardly, cleansed from impurity, from ignorance, those whose hearts and minds are attuned to perceive that inner light.
Okay, that clarifies things significantly. Access requires purification.
Yeah.
So how does one achieve that? What's the path towards becoming purified enough to touch this hidden reality?
Well, the Prophet Muhammad's own life gives us the ultimate example. His preparation was immense. His lineage itself, through Ibrahim and Ismail, placed him in that sacred chain of imams.
So it was partly heritage.
Heritage, yes, but also intense spiritual practice. Even before the main revelation, Imam Abu Talib gave him the Ismi Azam, the supreme name, a powerful spiritual tool to prepare his inner being. And think about his retreats.
To the cave of Hira.
Exactly. Those periods of solitude, deep contemplation, worship. He was cultivating his heart, making it ready, quietly expectant for the divine gift. This preparation was absolutely vital.
So revelation wasn't just words appearing, but light entering a prepared vessel.
That's a beautiful way to put it. The Qur'an itself says revelation was an infusion of spirit and light into his heart, not like taking dictation. And his mirage, the spiritual ascent, that was a profound inner transformation, a shift in consciousness.
It was an inner journey.
Absolutely. So while the written Qur'an we have acts as a kind of record, a symbol of those luminous encounters, the true Qur'an, in this sense, remained living, radiant within the Prophet's heart. And this connects to another really important concept, Loh-e-Mahfuz, the guarded tablet.
The guarded tablet. What exactly is that? Is it a literal tablet?
No, not a physical thing. It's understood esoterically as the universal soul. Think of it as a living, eternal, spiritual archive. It's where the spiritual Qur'an, the original essence, and indeed all realities are preserved perfectly.
All realities.
Yes. The idea is that things exist on two levels. There's the original, eternal, spiritual form, and then there's its copy or reflection in our material world.
Okay, can you give an example that's quite abstract?
Sure, think of Adam. There's Adam in paradise, his higher spiritual reality, and Adam on earth, his lower material self. Same principle. Or the Kaaba in Mecca, it's a physical building, right?
Yes.
But it symbolizes the celestial Beit al-Ma'mur, the much-visited house, which exists in the spiritual realm. Even the black stone in the Kaaba tradition says it was originally a radiant white stone from paradise, symbolizing the soul's pure state before descending.
Okay, so the physical things we see are like shadows or reflections of a higher spiritual reality.
Exactly. So the physical Quran, the book we hold, is a reflection. But the Quran and the guarded tablet, the Loh-e-Mahfuz, that's the eternal source, the original blueprint, you might say.
That makes sense. The reflection versus the source. So going back to the verse, none can touch it except purified. What kinds of purification are we talking about? You mentioned it's multi-layered.
Right. It's not just one thing. Tahar, purification, happens on at least 3 levels. First, there's the basic, essential physical purification. Keeping the body clean, the place of prayer clean. It's about respect, readiness.
Okay, physical cleanliness. What's next?
Second is spiritual purification. This is deeper. It comes through practices like worship, prayer, developing humility, constant remembrance of God. This cleanses the heart, the inner self.
Body, then spirit.
And third, which is perhaps the most subtle, is intellectual purification. This isn't just about getting rid of wrong information. It's about cultivating wisdom, true understanding. It involves removing ignorance, yes, but also biases, preconceived notions, intellectual arrogance. It's about refining the intellect itself.
Body, spirit, and intellect. A complete cleansing. So who truly embodies this level of purification in the tradition?
Well, the Quran itself points directly to the Ahl Bayt, the Prophet's household, in Surah 33, verse 33. It speaks of their complete purification by God. And in the Ismaili understanding, the Imam of the time, as the living representative of the Ahl Bayt, embodies this purification. He has that full, unhindered access to the hidden book because his very being is purified in this complete sense.
So the Imam isn't just a guide to the hidden book. He embodies the purity needed to access it.
Precisely. He is the key and, in a sense, the living expression of that purified access.
Okay. So as a seeker progresses on this path, How does this hidden book actually manifest? What does it look like or feel like in terms of spiritual growth?
That's where we get into some beautiful interconnected symbols for the highest stages. The hidden book, in its accessible form for the purified seeker, is described as the light of intellect. This represents the pinnacle of spiritual illumination.
The light of intellect.
It's also referred to as the Pearl of Intellect. Imagine all that divine knowledge concentrated into a single radiant pearl. And it's connected to the origin point, the divine pen, the very first creation, which inscribes all knowledge onto the guarded tablet.
The pen, the tablet, the pearl, the light. They're all pointing to this ultimate wisdom.
Exactly. And remember Hazrat Ali's famous statement, "I am the guarded tablet." This directly equates the Imam with this living repository of divine wisdom. So to truly touch the hidden book is ultimately to connect with, to resonate with, the Imam's luminous intellect.
To reach the Imam's intellect. That's the goal.
Yeah.
You also mentioned the hand of Allah earlier in connection with spiritual gifts. How does that fit in?
Yes, the hand of Allah. It's a powerful Qur'anic symbol for God's authority, His active power, His bestowing of the highest spiritual gifts. And these gifts, unlocked through this journey, are incredible. They include things like mulk.
Mulk, like kingdom.
Not just earthly kingship, it means spiritual sovereignty. Mastery over the self, first and foremost, but also the spiritual authority and capacity to guide others. Then there's Fazal. Divine grace. Bounty, favor, both the seen and the unseen blessings that enrich the soul and life. And finally, care. Ultimate goodness, profound wisdom, virtue, being perfectly aligned with divine truth. These aren't just given out lightly.
They're earned through that purification and readiness.
Exactly. They are trusts, given only to those who reach those highest levels of inner preparation. In the esoteric, the Batini tradition, reaching the stage involves a profound renewal. It's like making a new covenant, but this time at the level of the purified intellect, Akli level. It mirrors the primordial covenant with God.
A covenant of the intellect.
Yes, uniting the seeker's refined intellect with the eternal truth, through the Imam, who is the living representative of that truth. And it's this union, this deep intellectual and spiritual connection that truly unlocks those treasures, mulk, fazl, khair, not as possessions, but as sacred responsibilities, trusts to be lived, embodied, and used for the good.
That's incredibly deep. A covenant of the intellect unlocking these divine trusts. So what's the absolute culmination? Where does this journey ultimately lead the seeker?
The ultimate point, the breathtaking culmination, is described as beholding or even receiving the Pearl of Intellect, Dur al-Aql.
The Pearl of Intellect again.
Yes, but now understood as containing the totality of divine wisdom within itself. Think about that. In the higher reality, the single pearl isn't just a piece of knowledge, it is the entire book. All its meanings, all its layers, distilled into one luminous, comprehensive essence.
The whole ocean in a single pearl.
That's a classic analogy used, and you see echoes of this throughout Ismaili devotional literature. The Guineans, the Qasidas, the Imam's own Farmans, they often speak of finding these scattered pearls of wisdom, all ultimately leading back to, or contained within, this one ultimate pearl, which is synonymous with the Imam's guidance and wisdom. It's the complete knowing.
Wow. Okay, let's try and summarize the key points from this incredible journey into Kitab-e-Maknūn. It's a lot to take in.
Definitely. So first, the absolute core. The Qur'an and the Imam are inseparable. The Imam is the living key to unlocking the Qur'an's true, deep meaning.
Right. And second, the hidden book, Kitab-e-Maknūn, isn't a physical book hidden away somewhere. It's the Qur'an's eternal, spiritual, luminous reality, preserved in the universal soul, the guarded tablet, and living within the Imam.
Third, that crucial word, touch. It's symbolic. It means deep, experiential, spiritual access, achieved through purification, not physical handling of the pages.
Fourth, that purification itself is holistic. It has to be physical, spiritual, and intellectual, preparing the entire being.
Fifth, the distinction between the physical Qur'an, the reflection, and the Qur'an in the guarded tablet, which is the eternal source, the original.
And finally, sixth, the ultimate culmination, the Pearl of Intellect. This single pearl representing the totality of divine wisdom, the essence of the entire book, received through connection with the Imam.
It really brings home that the Qur'an's deepest truth isn't ink on paper, it's light. It's spirit. The hidden book isn't hidden because God wants to keep it secret. It's veiled by its own profound depth, which requires us to transform, to purify ourselves, to be able to perceive it, The physical book invites our minds, absolutely, but the hidden book calls to our souls, inviting us to become capable of receiving its light. And the Imam is both the guide on that path and the embodiment of the destination. So the journey isn't just about reading words, is it? It's about becoming capable of touching light itself, until that whole vast ocean of wisdom is found right there within that single radiant pearl of intellect.
As we close today's reflection on Kitab-e-Maknūn, the veiled book, we're reminded that the Qur'an's deepest reality is not confined to ink and paper, but lives as light in the heart. Its inner wisdom remains veiled, not to keep us away, but to invite us into transformation, to purify our souls, our hearts, and our intellects so we may approach it. The Imam stands as both the guide and embodiment of that hidden book, the living heart through which the Qur'an's true meaning flows. To touch it is to touch light itself, to hold, within the pearl of intellect, the vast ocean of divine wisdom. May we each continue this journey from reading words to living their light, until what was once hidden becomes the truth we carry within. Take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've heard today, and let its meaning settle in your heart. If these insights have touched or inspired you, share this episode with your friends and family so they too can benefit from its light. Sometimes a single spark of understanding can ignite change in a home, a community, even the world. Let us keep spreading that light together.